Hi guys, welcome back to another quick card pull. This is being filmed on Sunday, June 14th, 2026. Today we're pulling from the foil tarot cards. So just a quick update, anyone that saw the post that it's like, new ways to pay. So I am very excited to announce that if you have Venmo or if you have your own personal bank, this is more towards my US clientele because in Canada we're allowed to e-transfer. So Canadians don't have access to Venmo or Cash App. So with this new change, if you want a reading, I could send you the link and you could pay a way that is more suitable to you. So Apple Pay, Venmo, Cash App. If you want to pay with a credit card, or they'll give you all the platforms and all the information you need. So it'll make it easier if you want to get a reading if you're my US client. So I'm really excited to announce that. I just wanted to update that. If you want a personal reading, just reach out to me, and we'll talk over everything, and then I'll send you the link. You pay for your reading, and then we'll do the virtual reading as soon as possible and go from there. So really excited to announce that. We're going to start with the Chariot energy. So if you watch the Eye of Wisdom, or I think it's Eye Energy, I think it's the other account that it's also posted on. I don't know if they're affiliated with each other, like they post, because it's the same post, but you see Eye of Wisdom on there, so maybe they repost to another account just in case if one gets taken down. But there is this shift happening right now. So if you are kind of like myself and it's just been one thing after another, and when I start talking about last week, it's like it was our anniversary. It was a high holiday I didn't know about. There was another one. So the Rabbi that I follow, he's been saying some controversial things lately, but it's just like, the things that resonate with me, like, we say with tarot, what resonates, take that. So, extra things in a really already chaotic full week. You know what I mean? Wednesday had an appointment that, threw, a monkey wrench into things. And then, you know what I mean? It was just, sometimes you need to take a beat and let your higher self come in. Like I didn't sleep very well, and I'm like, I'm going to go take a quick nap. I probably didn't need it, but I got some things done, and I'm like, let me take a quick nap, just energize my energy. That way I am fresh and ready. And, the thing is that, and I love Mama Cookie for this, that, sometimes it's good to have a cry. I could feel that there was something building that I needed to cry. It's also, you know what I mean? Like, you cycle and everything like that. So the hormones are building up in some people. So, I know there was other things added to the situation. So I just sat there, took a beat. You know what I mean? This is where you love on yourself. Everything you would do for everybody else that you do, you know what I mean? This is for the healers. This is for the empaths. This is for the empresses and emperors out there that sit there and pour into other people's cup. And maybe you have been having a go of it. This shift is changing. The 15th comes as kind of like a retrograde ending. This is just like kind of magnified a lot of situations. So maybe you've been feeling this intense energy. Thankfully, by the grace of God, that lovely, I think his name is Kobe, that has the giraffe logo on TikTok, and he does all the beautiful music. He has one for anxiety. So I've been listening to that. I put on my tiger's eye. I put on my third eye. You know what I mean? I'm just like, what can I do to help benefit myself in a way where I can heal from this situation, that I can recharge and get rid of this. You know what I mean? And that's the best thing, is to learn to care for yourself. Because a lot of times the universe will fill your cup. Allow your higher self to come in. Allow them to sit there and, recharge your energy and be like, you know what, let's just keep flowing in this way. And again, the things that are being magnified, it's like, we know, especially with the experiences of our life, that we've had situations in our life where it's like things have changed in a dime. You thought it was going one way, it went the other way. So, you know what I mean? It goes in your favor. And sometimes it's right to that point. But that's where it's teaching you, like, you don't have to exert your energy or, feed this anxiety. I can't help it. It just triggers me back to certain situations. So it's like, I know it's triggering me. I know what the reality is. Just keep moving forward. Just keep doing your thing. And whatever will be, will be. I'm just going to take my time. You know what I mean? And it's like, this is where it's returning to pouring it back into other people's cups. You know what I mean? Like, I was just, you guys know I shuffle the deck and I get all the cards ready. So the one thing that as soon as I saw the Chariot, I'm like, things are working out. Like, you know what I mean? The energy is shifting. So one thing that they're saying is returning back to filling other people's cups, because, you pull from your sturdy, You know, like they're showing all these cups on the ground, but yours has this strong concrete, you know, pillar here, and your cup sits on it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, you're not looking for those situations where it's like, oh, look at me, look what no. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very thankful for the people that send me DMs and are just like talk about, you know, so 4114 is a number up here. We'll put that down. But you know, that they send those nice DMs. You know what I mean? Like, anyone that's a healer knows not everybody wants people to know in their life that they get readings done. We all know that. Anyone that gets those kinds of services done. So, which is totally fine. But I take a screenshot of what they wrote, and like, even on Facebook, this, she's one of, you know, you have those diamond people in your group, and she sent me the most beautiful message, and she's like, I just want to take the time to thank you. I know you're you know, for doing what you do. And she's like, I know this, you know, she knows, you know what I mean? Like, she sees the work and effort that I put in. It's like things that touch my heart and soul. It's like, I know my tribe may be going through the same thing as me. Let me share this experience, because it's like, you know, we are all going through this, or some of us are going through this. If you're not, absolute, like, that's absolutely fabulous. You know what I mean? Like, keep on living in that energy, but also be mindful of the people that are there for you when you go through these situations. Another positive confirmation here is the 10 of Cups. So something is affecting your home or your peace, or, you know, kind of affecting the way of life. They are, say, things are lining up beautifully. Unconditional love. This is the covenant between Yahweh Yeshua and through Noah and his people. And this is every people. You never mind what, you know, they say, you know, the chosen and da 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 da. They judge by your heart. You know what I mean? Again, I always tell, like, my one son, he asked a question, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's what this is about, is asking questions. And I said, you know what? God judges your heart. You know what I mean? The experiences that I've lived, the people that I've transformed, God judges your heart. Because some people are not God-fearing people, which is fine. You know what I mean? They didn't follow no religion. They were just a good person. They put their best foot forward and they did the best that they could. You know what I mean? That is a good person. You know what I mean? You don't have to, you know, do certain things. This is just what resonates with me and my journey and my path. You know, one of my sons does very much follow, and he's more devoted than I am. You know what I mean? So it just depends on the person, what speaks to their heart and soul. So King of Cups is a gentle reminder that as you fill other people's cups, or you go through certain, you know, things in your timeline, it's like, you know, because you are that person that fills other people's cup, to allow the universe to come in and gently fill your cup. Allow them. It's like, yes, you are a strong, independent individual. You know better. You know that you will see in your life, if you actually are honest and look on your life, and you'll be like, oh, sorry. You know that there's been patterns, or there's been situations. That's why it's good to write it down, that the universe will come in and bless you. The universe will come in with answers. The universe will utilize other people's hands to help you. You know, so, you know, today I was going to go for a walk. I was like, that'll be good for me. Get some fresh air and stuff like that. I did other activities, but it started to, like, you know, rain. So I'm just like, okay, you know, this is not a day to walk. This is a day to, you know, put the activities inside. So I did something else. It's utilizing your energy where you can. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's just universe saying, you know, in that way, it was just like, nope, not today. Let's, you know, concentrate on what's going on here. Let's get another task done. And that's what I did. So again, this is transformation. I believe it's the chakra tarot cards. I believe I should pull from that deck. So they talk about the evolution of the Fool. So in that deck, they talk about strength, transform, and gaining their wings and turning into temperance. So this is, you know, a path that leads to the sun. So this is universe saying you are on the right path. You know what I mean? You are going towards the sun. Yeah, it's challenging some days. Not every day is perfect. You know what I mean? But they see you getting up and doing the things that you need to do. That's what I said to myself. You know what? I'm still going to do the things that I'm going to do. I'm going to still push forward. I'm going to still do X, Y, and Z. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And that's all I can do. There's nothing more I can do. You know what I mean? I'm doing the best that I can with what I have, and keep filling other people's cup. You know, sometimes you do need to take a break. You need to take a step back. That's why I'm thankful for high holidays, because it's just like, also with social media, you know what I mean? Especially with everything going on, you know what I mean? There's some positive things, there's some not so positive things. And it's like, you know, you gotta watch what you're consuming at that time, especially when you're feeling that low vibration, watching things that make you laugh, the company you keep. You know what I mean? The people that sit there and you laugh and you could just be yourself and just, have a great time. Those are the people you need to surround yourself with. You don't need to surround yourself with toxic people, the people that are always taking. Energy vampires. So I feel like the Queen of Swords, I feel like she should be upright, but this is the way she came out, so we're going to leave her that way. But I feel like with the Queen of Swords, I feel like sometimes, you know what I mean? We tell ourselves untruthful things. This, and it's like, watch what we're putting out in the universe, but we can't help but feel that way because certain situations are going to, you know what I mean? Like I was even talking to, my person, and I was like, I was so proud of this, not in an arrogant way or look at me or anything like that, but I was just like, I was very proud of that. And it's like, they found these individuals found a way to poop on it. You know what I mean? And that's like, damn, it really don't matter. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. Like, no matter what you do or say or try or whatever, it don't matter. Like, cause people are on the other side of things and it's the same thing. You know what I mean? I feel like some of the repercussions is correct, like, corrective behavior and stuff like that, but it really don't matter. It doesn't matter. You could be on this side or you could be on that side. It don't matter. So definitely felt this, during this time. It's like this isolation, left out in the cold. And it's just like, you kind of like, take holding stake, being honest, Queen of Swords, right? She will come in with the truth. And I feel like that's what they're saying here. It's just like, yeah, you had that truth. But I remember Queen of Swords is in the reverse. So it's just like realizing those harsh truths. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you realize a lot, this is not the first time I've realized this, but you know what I mean? It's just like that, Robin Williams even said the same thing. You could be in a room full of people and still feel alone. So this is where Spirit is just like, again, with Temperance, allow yourself to feel your emotions, feel your way through the journey, and you will continue making your way towards the sun. Because that's part of the journey as well. I love the daffodils. My daffodil plant is not doing well at all. I think I'm going to transplant it and put another plant in that one. But you know what I mean? Again, making the best out of situations. Making the best out of your day. Sometimes we wake up, we have pressure headaches or we had a nightmare or whatever the situation was. And it's like, you know what? Even though that's the way it started, doesn't mean that's going to carry out through the whole day. So how can I change this day around? Okay, well, with myself, when I have pressure headaches, I'll take an allergy pill. If it still persists after an hour or two, I'll take a Tylenol and that will help. So it's just like, how can I turn this around? What other things can I do today? Sometimes it's really bad. Even when I put my head down to like do dishes or something, I could feel, the pressure. So again, it's just doing the best you can in the day. It may not be sunshine and rainbows, but at least you put your best foot forward in that situation. This is another reason why I feel like the Queen of Swords should actually be upright, because I feel like if you're someone like myself that suffers from anxiety, it's like we could talk ourselves into a pit. Remember we were talking about this? And it's just like, where it's like you feel isolated and you have to battle it alone. And it's like there's, how you have that voice of reason. You got to let your higher self come and be that voice of reason, where it's just like, where you are that voice of reason for a lot of people with the Six of Cups. That's why I say prosperity, abundance may not always look in the form of actual physical financial gain. But it's not to say that doesn't come in. You know what I mean? I feel like that's just who you are. You always are on top of your game. This is where Spirit was warning about burning out. I feel like with the swords, what they're saying that leads to the sun, you know what I mean? Where we got that with Temperance. And I feel like a gentle reminder that, there is unconditional love around you when sometimes we don't feel that way. Remind yourself that the universe is who fills your cup, so allow them to do that. Sometimes we stand in our own way. 14. So a lot of play with fours, which both of those lead to 5. Change and transformation. If you add them together, numerology, 1 + 4 is 5. 1 + 4 is 5. Again, with Temperance, is balancing our emotions that leads to the sun. So gentle reminders that sometimes, again, if you know what I'm talking about, that you can talk yourself into this pretty crazy situation. And that's just Spirit telling you, like, we got to let these myths, truths fall out. Yes, it triggers you this way. Yes, it brings up that. You know what I mean? Like, where people try to cut your legs off, you know what I mean? Because you're standing tall and that you're confident. A lot of people will sit there and purposely stay away from you because they know that they cannot manipulate you. They cannot use you. They cannot manipulate you. You're not a people pleaser to them anymore. It's like, before it's like, oh, what can I do for you? No problem. Even though you're exhausted, you know what I mean? It's just like, they've been sitting around all day picking their butt. And it's like, you come in, you just worked a long day and it's like, oh, can you get me this? Can you get me that? Can you do this? And you're just like, what the, you know what I mean? Instead of standing up for yourself, it's like, can you give me a minute? I just got through the door. Where, you know what I mean? It's like you've been home all day. You've been sitting on can you get up and get it? Like, or give me a minute? Like, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying, let these mistruths fall out of you. This is where, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be harsh. And again, I went through this, over the weekend. Wisdom came on Thursday. It really enlightened me. If you want to check them out, they're on TikTok. But this is where it's like, instead of concentrating on that, which it's hard not to, because some of these situations do feel very real, which is the most apt up thing that, we get triggered, and it triggers us to old energies. So Anastasia and Healing Reiki Hope both talked about that. Just because those situations happened back there, and it didn't happen where what I'm being 1616 just popped up. What I'm being triggered to, it's like it didn't even happen there. The whole situation changed because we were blessed and we worked hard and we made that decision to take that opportunity and do it. You know what I mean? So this is where they're saying a do-over. So this is where it's just like, that was then, this is now. That was there, this is here. So we have to learn to separate that. So this is where spirit comes through, which I'm very thankful to, because I'm like, bless me with the wisdom, the understanding. Like, what am I missing here? You know what I mean? Like, why am I feeling this way? And that's the thing, because, this has been a constant pattern for the past 9 years where people have made us feel a certain way, try to shake our foundation. You know what I mean? Yeah, there is a lot of change going on. But again, it's like, instead of concentrating, and again, I feel that this is mistruths, if especially you suffer from anxiety. You know what I mean? It's like that information will be brought to you. You know what I mean? I feel like there would have been something said. And again, everything can change on a dime. Everything can switch in an instant. So this is where Spirit is saying, concentrate on what makes you happy and start making your way back to your happy place. Find people that bring peace into your life. The things that bring peace in your life, those are the things you want to keep on bringing in every day. The things that feel like home. The things that make you feel safe. Those are the things that you want to keep surrounding yourself with. We are also heading to a new moon. The next full moon will be at the end of the month. So with that new moon energy, we know that, like we were talking about with the Passion of the Christ, which is a very good way to remember. It's just like, when I'm feeling vulnerable, we know whatever negative energies, whatever that is, we'll see that you're vulnerable, and that's why it feels so heavy. It's like Linkin Park's song, why does it have to feel so heavy? It's just, we're going through it. I know everyone's like, oh, summer is here and da-da-da. Mental health and anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder and situations that we've gone through doesn't go by the seasons. Yes, in the summertime we're outside more. Well, not me, because I hate the freaking scorching sun. Right now I'm very thankful that we're getting rain and it's comfortable, and you know what I mean? But that's the thing. You're making the choice to move forward. Yeah, you felt what you felt. You know what I mean? You crossed over and now you're like, you know what? I'm making my way back. I feel like that's why we have that kind of light in the air with the sun and the moon, because it's like, no matter what phase you're going through or what phase the sky is going through, there's always light. Even from the stars. The stars are more luminous and beautiful when it's a new moon. So that's where, universe is just like, we felt what we felt. We're not going to concentrate on these false narratives. You know what I mean? And move forward. Like, I even said this when they said whatever they're going to say. I thought it was, again, it's just people just being overly disrespectful, and they're saying it because they know it'll affect you in a certain way. You know what I mean? So that's where it's just like, I'm moving forward. I'm forging forward. That's where it's important to pay attention to your one number. So, 11, universe supports you. 1111, so go to your wands energy. That is the universe supporting you, and your ship is about to come in. 41111, that's universe saying, like, happy times, celebrations. You know what I mean? It's just like, even through that chaotic week, I'm like, there was 2 wonderful things that happened. So you know what? It's just like, yeah, it was what it was. We got through the week by the grace of God. And, this is where we transmute that energy. That's why I love Shabbat. We burn up all the garbage that we don't want in our life. And brings in the light for the next week by his grace. You know what I mean? And again, that's just what I'm saying and what I'm doing. Take what resonates, apply it to your situation the way that you see fit. This is not me trying to tell you have to follow or anything like that. With this double confirmation of moving forward, things are moving forward. So so they're saying from now until the full moon, this is like you moving forward. You know what I mean? And this is where things are moving forward because you made the choice to move forward. And that's what you got to tell yourself. You know what? Even though when things are cruddy and not going the way that I anticipated with myself, like I've said this with the project that we finished, I was like, what a beautiful, magnificent thing. And it still is. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? They try to take it away. I'm going to take it back. Like, even with that situation where they're just like, nah, you know what I mean? It's just like, no, you know what? I'm going to wear that badge of honor because I earned it. I worked hard for it. God blessed me with the understanding and the wisdom. He blessed me with a fantastic work ethic. So I'm not going to let anyone take my flowers away from me. You want to rip them out? I'll replant them. You know what I mean? Even if you trample on flowers, they still regrow back. So, you know what I mean? You keep going. Don't, you know what I mean? You take back your power. I love how cards play into when you're doing this, but like taking the choice to move forward, and it's changing your perspective. Don't allow them to, you know what I mean? This is the crown chakra. You know, this is where the spirit is like, let me, sit there and massage your third eye. Let me massage your crown. Let me just come in here and put in some healing and light in here. I was asking my dad, I was asking Shane, I'm like, going through it, be here for me. Like, I really need some support right now, and that's where it's just like, some of these truths we have to know. You know what I mean? This is where this massive change, 14th or 15th, Eye of Wisdom, it's like this shift has happened. So you're going to feel the heaviness of the energy, and you know what I mean? It's your choice of what you do with that energy, how you forge forward, but again, this is where where you're low, that, call upon whomever you believe in, archangels, past loved ones, whomever that you believe in, Gaia, Yahweh, Yeshua, divine creator, higher self, Mother Earth. It's like, come and help me restore my energy, restore my power, restore, what I feel like is lacking. So again, another positive confirmation with the 8 of Cups is like, you're moving forward and you're going to feel this, the shift is supposed to, the energy will lighten a little bit there. I know Pluto's been pretty crazy, but we did say this with the Pluto as well before I knew, Eye of Wisdom came up on my feed, and that's another thing. You should really update your feed. You know what I mean? Go through, whomever, whatever you've been following, maybe it doesn't resonate anymore. And it brings back all of the things that bring, that happiness and home, and you know what I mean? It's just like, I definitely feel like there's things we can do to help change that, alleviate that situation. With the 2 pillars, balance is being restored. Very Libra energy. It is mind energy where we go back to like, the hangman, like, at crown chakra, wisdom and everything. But I definitely feel like it's grounding as well. Calling back in your tribe. You haven't talking to people for a bit, and it's just like, reestablishing boundaries and calling back in your core, the people that feel like home, the people that bring you in peace and everything. You know what I mean? So, this is the shakeup. This is the shift. Here we go with our wand energy. So 11:11. I didn't notice this until like recently. So when I brought it up and I'm like, what the fly? It was in front of me the whole time. You know what I mean? But again, 11:11, celebration. So Father's Day is coming up next weekend. My nephew's birthday. So, you know what I mean? It's just like, there are things to look forward to. There are things to, celebrate. You know what I mean? Even if it's celebrating yourself in a job well done with something. It's just like, be proud of yourself for how far you've come and what you've accomplished and what you're doing, because you know what? Sometimes you have to recognize your own flowers, because people won't give them to you because they're like, ugh, oh, aren't they full of themselves? No, I'm not. I'm not full of myself. I'm just proud of myself that, project came up. I had no idea, God blessed us with that wonderful woman at Canadian Tire, able to get it done. We didn't cause this. We just wanted a solution, so we got the solution. We did it ourselves, and I'm very grateful. Chef's kiss. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's where it's just like, like I said with this weekend, I was like, grant me the wisdom, grant me the understanding, grant me the knowledge, to go, because you're not who you used to be. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for that, because it's just like it opens your eyes where I was oblivious. I know someone I'm acquainted with, their mom told me that as well. You don't need people in your life if they're just there because, you benefit them. Those are not friends. Those are people that are just, those are vampires. Those are energy suckers. You know what I mean? But that's what she said to me. She's like, those aren't real friends. If they're not there for you when you need it too, like you're always there championing for everyone else, and when you have your moment, it's like, who's championing for you? That's who you put your energy into. All this is leading to the sun. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't feel that way. That's the positive thing to say to yourself when you go through these storms, is like, this will not last forever. This too shall pass. You know what I mean? Watch your For You pages. What are they trying to tell you? That's why I post those, because it's like, I'm going through this. I'm sure I'm not the only one. We are all born with this ability. Just because you are a healer or an empath or whatever your line of light work is, does not mean you're immune to these situations. You're not immune to the human experience. You just feel it on a more elevated level. If you're the type of person that absorbs other people's energies, you know what I mean? This is where it's like, like the sunflowers will surround you. So sunflowers may be significant, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere and you're sowing your seeds. The soil is now warm enough where we're living. I'm very thankful that I have such an amazing neighbor, and her son, he was just like, yeah, I see your garden. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to be on vacation this week, but it didn't work out. But, I'm going to have to, you know what I mean? And he's just like, no worries. And he, took care of all the dandelions and everything in there. So, you know what I mean? It's just like, allow people to help and support you. Allow people to also care on you, because you care on others. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is where it's like, if we're very stubborn, we keep cutting ourselves off. You know what I mean? This is, again, reestablishing boundaries. Calling back in your tribe. You know what I mean? It's just like, sometimes that tribe changes. People have got what they needed from that situation, and it's like, oh, don't need that no more. But like the sunflowers surround you, like in this beautiful card, you will be victorious. The red crimson flag is our root chakra, getting back to your roots. So like we were talking about, it rained all weekend here, but we were supposed to go for a hike and didn't work out, which is fine. Got other things done. And, putting your feet in the grass. So they're calling to certain things. So it's like listening to that call. Four of Pentacles. Last card. Holding. I was pulling this and I'm like, I'm surprised we didn't get the Four of Pentacles. Holding everything so tightly to our chest in a fear of losing it. This is where the anxiety comes in. You're white knuckling it because you're so afraid. So especially when you have made this journey where you have come to the mountaintop and you're ready for the next mountain. That's what the stage we're in right now. You conquered this stage. And now you're about to take on a new one. So very Ace of Pentacles. They show the mountaintop in the back. Let me look for the card. It'll be a lot easier to like, when I feel I'm a visual person. So when you can actually see it, it's easier. So just to confirm this. So where I say you've conquered your mountaintop. Universe gave you an Ace of Pentacles moment. You've conquered this. So if you're the type of person that it's like, I want to accomplish this now. There's nothing wrong with that. Todd Chrisley was talking about this with Chase and, oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. I can see his face. I just can't think of his name. Oh, that's going to bug me. But anyway, you know what I mean? It's like, that's how Todd and Savannah are. They accomplish a goal and they, you know what I mean? And that's what they're saying. This is why we're, when I was looking for this card, I got the Fool card. They got the Three of Wands, so 111. This is universe saying you are going to be the victor wearing the wreath. We support you through this. So it's, you know what I mean? It's just like, there was a shakeup, but we're going to learn to build around it. It's hurtful because, like Wisdom said, this feels like a passing because it's like you are mourning the change. You are mourning, some people can't move forward with you in this journey. That's what this is all about. That's why it feels so effed up, because it's like you're moving forward. And some people you definitely wanted to keep, but in my perspective with a certain situation, I'm like, I cannot clip someone's wings. That's what a lot of people are. We got the Fool card. People are trying to, if you ever owned a bird or if you've ever done research on a bird, they have flight feathers. If you trim those flight feathers, we had a lovebird, we would trim her flight feathers. So if she did fly and someone didn't realize she was flying around and she got out, she wouldn't get too far or in a tree where we could, get her. But thankfully that never happened. But this is what people are trying to do. Even one wing they're trying to clip because they know you can't soar with two. So do not allow people to mess with you, mess with your energy, mess with your hustle, or whatever you're trying to accomplish, gain here, whatever you're trying to do. This is like really getting me going, you know what I mean? And it's just like shaking that energy off. That doesn't serve me. That's not who I am. People are trying to ice you, put you in a ice cube or some sort of isolated situation where you can't move forward anymore. How dare you move forward? How dare you get back to who you used to be, but 10 times better because you're healed and you're not doing it through toxicity or anything like that. So they're trying to sit there and clip your wings because they don't want you to fly. They don't want you to accomplish anything you are. How dare you? They're too busy sitting on their butt doing nothing. So it's just like, how dare you? How dare you accomplish those things? How dare you, X, Y, and Z? But you keep going. You are given an opportunity again to climb a new mountain. And that's why we felt all this anxiety and everything else, pressure and, trying to figure it out. And it's like, that is our biggest problem. Because we don't know what the outcome of a situation is. Even when I know someone close to me was going through the exact same thing, had a whole week of no sleep, exhausted themselves out. And I'm like, they said there was going to be a shakeup. They said that, you're fine. But because it's not in their, like an email or a phone call, and I get where they're coming from. Because it shakes you to your core because it affects a lot of things. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I was just like, it's coming. It's going to work out. You know what I mean? But again, until you actually see like an email or a offer or, it's something tangible, you know what I mean? It's like, it does feel that way because we've been here before, and it's like, but again, when we look on the cycles in life, we know that it works out. So that's where universe is just like, trust us, let us help you. We're offering you this opportunity to ground yourself. So like with the sun card, with the crimson red, root chakra, and move forward. We know whatever opportunities we give you, answered prayers that you're looking for, you will be the victor wearing the wreath. Because they know who you are and what you're capable of. The universe sees everything. They heard the conversations, they see the actions, they see the plotting and whatever else they're doing. They're protecting you. Do not allow anyone to clip your wings. Those are not your people. Even though they feel like they're a grounding source, even though you have a connection, they are not. No. You keep going. You know what I mean? You will see the patterns in your life. It's how you react to it. And how you react to it is you keep doing it. You keep sticking your energies into the grind. You know what I mean? You concentrate on it. You know what I mean? And do what you need to do. Don't worry about anyone else. That's their problem, though. They worry about everybody else. They live in their misery. They know they can't make anyone miserable, so they're trying to make everyone, I want you to feel the way that I'm feeling. It's manipulation. So you conquered this mountain. You should be proud of yourself. Now there's a new opportunity to come here. It's up to you if you choose it. But, keep moving, forging forward. The universe has you. And this energy should get lighter by tomorrow. So probably the end of the day tomorrow. If you have any crystals that ground you, amethyst is a great grounding crystal. If you're feeling lack of love, get your rose quartz, get your tiger's eye, get your they're saying jade, but who knows? I have green jade on, and pink jade, but your third eye. Protect yourself at this time. Meditation, if you're able to, and get yourself back into your groove again. This is what they were trying. They were trying to knock you off your horse. That's exactly what they were trying to do. We started with this is all about the year of the horse. You are in charge of where your life is heading to, and they're trying to knock you off your horse because they could see that you're the victor in the wreath, and they don't want that. You keep that in mind. I know it was a little bit of a long one. I apologize. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next one.